Morning, guys. Let's recap Wednesday, 8th of October. XJO down about 20, futures down 14. We're up over 48, about 48 points overnight. UK surged 62, S&P also up 39. Let's start with the Aussie. Obviously got this sharp seller from open here. So I thought I'd, moving forward, I'll just put my execution kind of arrows on here. I'm sure it's going to be embarrassing a lot of the time with my bad trades, but either way, it should kind of serve to illustrate the way that or the reasons behind why I'm entering and exiting. So this one, you can obviously see yesterday I shorted. So I had a straddle actually around the open here. So obviously we're entered short, about 6 points either side. So as I alluded to yesterday, the reason behind that is you look at the data, about 35% of days will actually just move in one direction with less than 5 points in the other. So, I mean, that's obviously less than half, but in saying that, it just gives me a feel and kind of stops me kicking myself when I've missed a move that's just gone in one direction from open. When do I do that? Normally do that when I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of volatility. So you can see the prior day here, which would have been the Tuesday, rallied in the close here. So that's kind of my number one indicator that we're going to get a move, decent range the next day. So obviously this big 15-minute fall here, as always, you got a 85% odd probability that we're going to break these lows here. When you put it through MOSAIC, what I've done here in terms of, filtering on the go, again, I'm looking at days where we've had that rally into close the prior day, okay, in that last hour and a half of trade. So this is more than 20 points move one direction or another from the low to the high, or high to low in that last 90 minutes, and it just indicates that there's some international flows coming in, pretty significant, and that normally plays out the next day. So when you look at that, and then that first 15-minute change is double digits down. So what I'm trying to do here is go, okay, on similar setups where we've had kind of euphoria into close the previous day, market's opened, it's overpriced, and it's been sold off. What does that look like? Well, I mean, you can obviously, interpret this a million different ways, but for me, what stands out is this first hour, okay, is really well protected. So I noted this yesterday on the chat, but when I'm looking at this gives me a lot of confidence that I can kind of go short, add on any pops or anything for that first hour, and I'm not going to suddenly be surprised by a 20-point rally, okay? And then you kind of get the free hit to move on, post 11 o'clock. So yeah, doubled down a little bit here, and then just took profit along the way here. I think we probably filled out that 40 points odd range. Yep, 47 points yesterday. And then I left very, very small runners here. What I'm looking at is a break of the 11 a.m. / 11 to 11:30 high, okay? So this was pretty clean in terms of it, it fell and then started rallying back. So just set your stops above the high here. Again, this is just because I'm trying to capture large end of day moves. If it breaks that 11:30 high, the probability that it's going to finish lower is pretty slim. So that's the reasoning behind that. Overnight, I mentioned this on the chat, but if you jump into MOSAIC and you do 30 points or more fall first hour, like we had here, and then a positive aftermarket, I think I put greater than 5 points, which it was. think it's minimum 30 points to highs in all past overnight. So yeah, had a couple of stabs here at long and then just kind of tiered out every 10 points. Last one was at 8992, I think it was. UK, I didn't trade at all on the UK. This first 15 was 9 points. So my cutoff or trigger is 10 points. So just missed that. If it was 1 point higher, I was ready to go long again on that probability that you're going to break these highs, 90+%. So 99 to 15. So that's a kind of a, say 85, 90% probability of making 15 points there. The other thing that I like to keep in mind is when you get that first 10-point move, if that end of session is going to finish 20 points higher, this low won't be breached, okay? So a lot of the time, if I get if there's a 10, 15 point first 15-minute move, if you really do think it could be, a big rally coming, for the sake of 10 or 15 point stop, that's a really kind of attractive setup as well, I find. The other thing I was going to mention, obviously, in terms of cross correlation of markets, UK up about 65 from 5 p.m. and I think the Footsie at that point, again, the Footsie, if you go back, similar to the, when I say the Footsie, I'm talking similar to the XJO. It's the physical basket of shares. So if you went back to where that basket closed prior day to here, that was also up 50 or 40 or something like 45, something like that. So when you get that, let's see if I can just again in terms of the correlation across markets, if we go change to first session close, so let's say we have greater than 40 move in that session, and also the Footsie's up at the end of that session greater than 40. So that's just taking out those instances where, yeah, we might have rallied, but futures were down 100 points when it opened. Okay, so it's just saying that the market's generally bullish all around. Let's put in day change. I'm really looking for the 5 to 12 Euro open to RTH open change. Yep. Okay, so when you look at the change Euro open to RTH open, so say 5 to midnight, you can see it's a hell of a lot of green here, okay? The average is, I think, about 17 points higher. So one way to think of that is, okay, this is belting that first hour, 2 hours. It looked on track to at least breach that 40-point mark. And you can kind of try and get ahead of the curve a little bit in terms of where are we? Okay, so this is the session here. Okay, this is the UK Open here. At this point, you could have gone long at 0 points from Europe Open. Okay, so again, just a way to think of that is, well, for me, when I'm looking at this, UK is skyrocketing. Based on that, these are the outcomes for that 7-hour period. Okay, so if I could get long somewhere around here early on in the night, I mean, there's a lot of upside there. Okay, and then it almost gives you a bit of a free hit, going into that open period. You know, if it is going to finish higher, you can just set your stop under here. It won't touch it 90% of the time. This morning, just long and open based on this kind of setup. So again, just doing it in MOSAIC. Let's have a look at, so the last 3 days have been, you know, a bit of a rally, and then we fell, and we rallied again. Okay, so when you look at that, where do we go here? In terms of the day change, you can see overall very, very bullish. And if I can find moves to high, open day to day high, you can see 100% of the time the market's reached 15 points to highs. Okay, so from here, 56, it'll reach 71 points 100% of the time historically. So that's what we're kind of setting up for today. All right, guys, have a good day.